The following podcast contains real reviews and the ridiculous reactions of two would-be oracles of the internet. The opinions expressed and presented are mere musings, so please humor their hijinks with a laugh and not by taking anything they say seriously. Seriously.
Hello and welcome to ReviewParty.com. I'm Brent.
I'm Matt.
We have a show for you this week. It's got comedy, it's got internet reviews, man. Oh, it's got us. It's got you.
Hi. Oh, hello.
What more could you need?
48 minutes of your life.
48 minutes of your life. Maybe a little bonus minutes if you're good. You know, a lot of people say the good podcasts make you feel like you're the third friend in the room. We want you to feel like you're the poop in the room that no one knows about. The dog that pooped behind the plant, and it's just been there for like a few weeks now. It's dried up, and it doesn't have a smell to it anymore.
We don't even know. We don't even consider that you're there. Is that the message?
But they're an integral part of the tapestry. Even
right.
They're
the feng shui wouldn't be as fun without
right.
you.
They're there in such an extreme way, but it doesn't throw off the vibe. You just sort of mold it. I don't know what I'm saying. Do you have a review?
I got a review. We're gonna start with a long one, but I don't know. It's maybe falling on the end of spooky season. But also, I just saw a preview for a play that my delightful girlfriend is in. And it was fantastic. Well, she was fantastic. There are moments that are unironically funny in a show called Macbeth, which really, I don't. Maybe some moments shouldn't be funny in that show, but they were. Anyway, I have a Goodreads review for Macbeth, a moment by moment. It's not a translation, but a version, a cutting of Macbeth that I guess somebody tried to help the kids understand. And this is a Goodreads review by Ondine. Ondine writes, I thought that this was too much ye old English. Shakespeare was such a pick-me. Like, we get it. You're fancy and smart, but if you want your plays and stuff to be mainstream, at least make them understandable. Like, at this point, we were just guessing about what you're saying. Also, the witches really scared me. Like, if I saw 3 old ladies appear out of thin air, I would shit my pants, And also, I really hate it when loads of people die for no reason. Like, yeah, we get it. You're a literature man. You explore ideas of death. But this wasn't exploring. This was a whole endeavor. It was a full safari. Like, dude, someone needs to check on William's mental state. Another issue I had was how the wife was so creepy. Like, she was literally selling her soul. Someone please call Jesus. Someone needs to be crucified. I don't like how the main woman had to be like this. Like, why do men always make girls really hot and really crazy? Who rejected William to make him so bitter? Like, the 4 women in the book were either literal demon worshippers or magical old hags. Which is why Shakespeare is deaf a misogynist. Like, even in Romeo and Juliet, Juliet literally kills herself when she sees her sneaky link dead like. Question mark? William, are you saying that in order to have the will to live, women need a man? That's also homophobic, bro. Like, why do you only show straight relationships? What if Romeo was secretly fruity and he killed himself so he wouldn't have to be in the closet anymore, huh? 1 star.
Is this a bit? Where's your bitdar on this one, man?
Bitdar is going off a little bit.
I hope it's
a little bit of this, the quote skibbity irony.
Yeah, it's giving like, oh, Gen Z doesn't understand or like art from different era because it has some questionable sensibilities under the surface, but it's laid on it's just a little thick.
It's a little heavy. It's a little cloying. Yeah.
I'm just finding it hard to take it at face value, especially as ironic attack on Shakespeare. Something, I don't know. I'm all about like tearing down stuff that society has built up that actually sucks. Like, I don't know, James Cameron or something. But
Right.
I kind of am plus on Shakespeare, even if some of those stories have some whack aspects to them. They
Right.
also, those stories are the stories we've told a million times over forever, and
Stories
will
of
always
humanity, yes.
tell. Right, exactly.
And humanity is, there are ugly sides to it. There is
That's true.
misogyny and racism and classism and all those sorts of things.
And people
Doesn't
dying.
mean that he was that way because he wrote that way.
Yes, that's
This thing
true.
called commentary, a reflection of the culture.
And we don't even know if Shakespeare was really a dude, or if it was
Really
a bunch
one
of
man,
dudes,
yeah.
or a lady, or a bunch of dudes and ladies. We don't really know.
3 witches in the woods. Who knows?
Yeah, I fucks with 3 witches in the woods evaporating out of thin air. You know what I mean?
Oh, would they had stayed?
The commentary on death is just, it gives the most ignorance to me, I think, because like people back
Yeah.
then, if you were like a 30-something, your friends were dropping like flies, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's not cool to think about.
They're saying people are dying for no reason. Like, you did read this, didn't you? People aren't dying for no reason. There is a very clear reason why people are dying.
Usually stabbed.
I'm usually stabbed because you're in my way for the power that I desire, or you are a threat to the power that I now have.
And also, doesn't like every dying Shakespeare character get a whole soliloquy on the fall down?
Pretty much.
They lay it out. They tell you what's going on more than Shakespeare's actual dead friends.
Yeah, yeah. If it's not
died.
the character who's about to die saying something, it's the person who's about to kill them saying something and pretty clearly saying this is why they have to die.
Or they just cut to Othello and see what he's got to think about the situation, because bro does not shut up. I say that affectionately.
I've got to dive in on that.
It's not. Othello. Othello do be shutting up. Othello's a very well-spoken man. Who's the bad guy in Othello?
Iago,
man. Yeah, he's got something to say about everything. Bro is not.
Right, he's the
not shut
one.
up.
I haven't read that personally, but he's the one who's like, when he's just talking to the audience, he's saying one thing, and when people are in the room, he's saying something totally different. And people walk out, and he's like, "Here's my plan."
Yeah, my Shakespeare professor described Iago as he's Shakespeare's worst villain with all his best lines, which is exactly my kind of guy. Like, he accomplishes nothing he sets out to do. He's a jerk. He sucks. He stinks. No one really likes him, except people that he's tricked into liking him. And then every time he's in a room alone, he's just talking his shit. So yeah, I think it's obvious that Shakespeare's got a lot of meat on the bones, even if it's some problematic meat at times.
Yeah, you just spit that little bit of fat out.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually a great metaphor for it.
Like maybe somebody would have a taste for this, but if you don't, yeah, put that in your napkin. No one needs to. It's not for me.
I guess we should touch on no one understands what you're saying. Why are you talking so fancy? That's pretty crazy. I guess that was the first, like, are you serious?
Yeah. There are, again, depending on what version of the text you get, there are going to be copious footnotes telling you what is being said. There are entire glossaries that have every instance of every word in the canon and what it means in each instance.
Mm-hmm. And
So-
I don't know, you read a couple Shakespeare stories, like if you read a story once with footnotes and again without them, you'd be surprised at how quickly your brain acclimates to
You
like
build that
how they're
muscle up.
speaking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you're going
Oh.
and seeing a play. I don't know. When I was in college, it was a little harder, or even high school. But like now, after seeing and reading a bunch of it, it's there's a certain lovely rhythm. Oh,
Mhm.
garbage truck. That's funny. I'm talking about Shakespeare being good and a garbage truck is good. I have a review. I got a quickie.
Okay.
A quick and dirty one to juxtapose with that one. This is from Amazon. I do not have a product listing. This product has been deleted. No image available. Sorry, we can't find that page, but I was able to the review is still archived and available.
It's strange how that happens.
Yes, it's very... I don't want to know the inner evil machinations of Amazon making that happen. But I found this review on Twitter, and the Twitter image, which has the review, which I went and verified that it was real, and then it has a product image next to it, and I would guess the Amazon product listing would be something like, I don't know, super pleasure lover, sex swing for boy and girl, sex swing intimate, hang in basement, hump your lover with fast vigor and ease of motion, sex swing. Something like that.
Sick. Let's go.
Yeah, it's a sex swing. It's got the lady is sort of, at least in the pic, I'm sure there's all kinds of, there's a whole Karma Sutra just for this, but the lady is what was she, on her stomach. She's prone, floating in the sex swing. One strap under shoulders, one under hips. She is looking at the camera. She looks, I don't know, she's like, hey, you seeing this? This is awesome, right? She's kind of excited. And she's covering her breasts with her arms. And then the guy is two-hand holding the swing, leaning back. You know where his hips are. Oh. And he's got his head thrown back and he's singing some sort of opera or something.
Okay.
So yeah, you get what this product is. You probably get why it was deleted off Amazon as well. But thank God we have this review from Aaron Webb. They title it, "Also helps for washing large dog." I have 2 large St. Bernards, and this swing is good to hold on the dogs while I wash them. I hang the swing from a tree branch and put the dog in the swing and wash the dog while it hangs in the swing. It is really a sight to see, but it works well. 5 stars.
Once again, the bitometer is
I think this one's legit.
Yeah, it sounded like maybe too good, but that last I know this kind of, there was some genuineness at the end. Right. And I'm like,
Also, just the person's Amazon just being their name, it just, it's giving they just want to help out a little bit.
They're not trying to hide anything.
Right. And I know large dogs that have bath anxiety. This is sort of a common go-to. Like, do you have a hammock? You got anything to just string this sucker up?
It's just like Operation Dumbo Drop, just hoist that sucker.
Because not only can they cannot no longer throw their weight around to get away from you, they also can't sit down to sort of that's a common big dog technique. Like, I don't want to deal with what's going on. I'm just gonna sit. I'm just gonna lay, because then I know you can't do anything to me. So yeah, you got them hung up and just
suspended like the dang cow in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how it is. You're lowering the goat into the raptor cage for a nice bath.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm glad this works, but is there like some St. Bernard word of mouth or like St. Bernard Facebook page that's like, hey, y'all might not want to hear this, but here's what we did, and we got us a sex swing. No, don't judge.
I mean, it's only a sex swing by any other function. We got to go to is the knife a knife here? Like, at what point does it shed its sex swing label and simply become dog washer assistant?
I guess once it gets pretty covered in hair and wet dog smell, it's probably not it's hard to view it as anything other than dog harness.
You throw it in the shed with all the other, like, dog stuff. Especially if you got a double St. Bernard situation, like, they got to have their own room at that point, man. Those are full-grown men.
Those are beefy pups.
Yeah, I think this review pretty much spoke for itself. You got one for us?
I got a couple here. We're off of Fish Hatchery Road in Madison, Wisconsin, at everyone's favorite Perkins American Food Company. I think maybe I've actually eaten at a Perkins once.
The 24-hour restaurant in my small hometown was a Perkins, so I have some
plenty of Perkins memories.
Yep, unfortunately.
Well, here's what Souffle has to say. IDK about the Perkins restaurant, but the ghost kitchen in here that is called Papa Corazon's Quesadillas is horrible. And if the ghost kitchen was this bad, then I don't even want to think about what the restaurant is like. Very disappointed. And I feel like I have been kicked in the timbers and shoved to the ground after this order. 1 star.
Ghost kitchens absolutely should be illegal. Ghost kitchens are foul work. I do not understand.
I did not look at this picture before. Speaking of foul, I don't know if this is supposed to be a quesadilla. Oh, it makes me so sad.
Oh no, dude. That looks like, oh fuck, I don't want to cook tonight. I don't have anything in the fridge. Well, I have this leftover steak. I have some salsa and cheese and some tortillas. I'm making like the world's shittiest little
taco burritos, something.
Yeah, a little leftover wrap here, like just some fuel in the tank so I don't die overnight.
That is literally 4 chunks of steak on a tortilla with some melted cheese on it.
And some sort the green. I'm a green salsa enjoyer, but in that context, boy, does it just look so sad.
Yeah, that does not look great.
Sneezed onto the fucking quesadilla.
That is. I won't even assault your senses with whatever this other picture is. It's maybe like a chimichanga or something. It's horrible. What really caught my eye about the review? Well. There's a couple things. Perkins American Food Company having a ghost kitchen called Papa Corazon's Quesadillas. This seems a little bit beyond the pale. So you got like a really passionate chef in it. This is Wisconsin, so say what you will about restaurants everywhere else. In Wisconsin, the line cooks might actually be Caucasian men.
I wish they weren't. I'd rather
anyone with color in their flavor palette. And
right. I'd rather anyone capable of wielding some spices back there. And the Perkins in my hometown is definitely emblematic of like, oh, my compliments to the chef, and then cut to the back, and it's just like 3 ex-convicts and smoking cigarettes, throwing stuff together.
Mm-hmm. I need some Greek people. I need languages other than English being spoken. Maybe that's ill of me to say, but the corn-fed Wisconsinite doesn't know how to cook quesadillas.
I don't think Perkins is supplying them with. Any company that thinks the solution to my problems is becoming a fake version of myself. It's top down over there. Anyone that is working in that kitchen has their work cut out for them, to say the least.
Anyway, I'll move on to the second review so I can get away from my towing the line of racism. This is a review from ZB. ZB writes, "We didn't ask for it, but the manager/supervisor gave us 20% off the bill, so I am assuming they were aware of the poor experience. Service was lacking, the food was poor quality and sloppy. We made a new rule because of this place. Quote, we will not eat at any restaurant that has multiple now hiring signs throughout the building." 1 star.
That's kind of rude to point out. Yeah, they're having a bunch of problems, and we will never help them. We will always judge them, and we will no longer. They were so. They brought the judgment out in us so much we won't go to that place again.
It's just they don't let them wallow forevermore.
It's giving. It's not you, it's me.
Mm-hmm.
But they just talked about how much they hate you for like 10 minutes. I hate you. You're stupid. You're ugly. I don't like your friends. I don't like being around you. It's miserable. You cause nothing but misery. It's not you. It's me.
I can't get over the manager gave us 20% off without saying anything.
Yeah. It's the worst restaurants I've experienced that I've had were kind of like that. Like the manager had his apology, I'm going to pay half your bill speech down better than the hey, how's it going tonight speech, you know. Yeah, Old Friendlies in Sandusky, Ohio. They may have cleaned up their act by now, but when we were there, it was just going in and like sitting down and hearing everyone around us complain and like talk to the manager and complain, and just it was almost fun. Like, what are we gonna get when we get our food? Like looking at the menu with that context, like what can I order that will be the least of a disaster? I think like most of us got burgers. And like, you know,
that's safe.
Cheese comes out unmelted, overdone or underdone. It was just crazy. I think my mom like ordered a Caesar salad. It came with ranch on it.
Yeah, this is white dressing. That's the same thing. Not that different.
Right. I think we gotta take a break, man. Yeah. We gotta go watch some dogs.
Hey everybody, thank you for listening to our lovely little podcast. If you'd like to go above and beyond in supporting our show, or have the most fabulous conversation starter since sliced bread, go to reviewparty.com. Click on shop and explore some fabulous t-shirt designs.
Where's your favorite place to wear a t-shirt?
On my body.
Mine is at the store.
That is a good place to wear a t-shirt. Reviewparty.com. Click shop.
Why stop there?
Don't stop now.
Don't stop me now, because I'm buying a t-shirt. I'm buying a shirt.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second half of the episode, and welcome to Apple Rankings.
Apple Rankings? Is this new? Is this fresh?
This is new. This is fresher than a Honey Crisp. AppleRankings.com. Maybe you have seen online some of this stuff being bandied about.
I think one of my favorite streamers. I didn't see them looking at this, but I watched the clipped rant that was sort of a result of perusing this place.
Well, yeah, AppleRankings.com. It's by no means like official. It seems like it's just a guy who's eaten a bunch of apples, decided to make a website. But I guess as a preamble. Here's what he writes on the How Apples Are Ranked page. For decades, the apple has been on a relentless descent into the fiery pits of hell, desperately lurching towards its biblical namesake as, quote, Satan's fruit. With the rapid degradation of the once mighty Red Delicious and the intentional impotence of apple farmers across the world, we were faced with the unthinkable. The rise of the pear. Thankfully, in the early 2000s, due to the emergence of a class of idle yuppies willing to shell out disproportionate amounts of disposable income at organic grocery stores, it became economically viable to invest in the development of what I term, quote, designer apples. As a result, a dizzying array of new apples hit the shelves and continue to do so year after year. With many new breeds, the antiquated system of delegating an apple as good or bad is an unworkable injustice of oversimplification. Society demands an updated rubric for apple evaluation that meets the moment. I have created that rubric. I have no children. This rating scale is my only hope to keep my namesake alive. It is something I hope to be utilized for generations to come and is my only chance at achieving immortality. Therefore, I am naming this system the Frange 100-point Apple rating scale, aka the F100. Each apple is evaluated on a 100-point scale broken down into 9 categories. Each category is worth a maximum of 10 points aside from taste, which is weighted double for a maximum of 20 points. As always, the points reflect each candidate as a munching apple. Categories are taste, crispness, skin, flesh, juiciness, density, beauty, branding/consistency, and cost/availability. And the 100-point scale ranges anywhere from a full 100, the fabled immaculate apple, all the way down to 0 to 9 points, criminal malfeasance. There are various things within there. I think we'll probably see some of them. But I'm going to start out with an apple that I do enjoy, the Fuji apple. Are you familiar with the Fuji?
Yeah, Fuji's a classic in my mind. We hate a Red Delicious, so like... In my mind, Fuji's like default.
It's really good. If I'm going to the orchard, which I hope to do today on like the last day of the season, I hope to find myself some Fujis. Fuji Apple Review, quote, the Japanese pop star. This has a rating of 56, which lands it in the category of barely worth it.
Ooh.
The reviewer writes, yet another demon spawn of the Red Delicious crossed with the Rawls Janet. This gravelly choking hazard named after Fujisaki City, Japan, is a J-pop star of an apple fit with a ravenous fan base that many Americans will find difficult to understand. Personally, it is beyond comprehension how this super hard medieval weapon, masquerading as a fruit, could become the most popular apple in Japan and a top 5 apple worldwide. Aside from a semi-sweet initial bite, this mushy, rough-skinned experiment gone awry is a baffling oddity, with a sword-like stem so sharp it will quite literally stab other apples in transit. Despite this, the Fuji fandom is real, uncompromising, and dedicated. A Fuji is not for everyone, but if it's for you, it just may be your favorite apple. It's up there for me.
I will offer my weeaboo wisdom as to why it can be so popular in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Japanese people don't eat apples with the skin on it. I shouldn't say Japanese people. I should say in Japan. It is more accepted. It is generally accepted to remove the skin from apples. A lot of Japanese people think we're weird for just grabbing an apple and taking a crispy bite. Yeah.
Okay.
They see the skin, apple skin, as like an orange peel.
Okay. The skin, it did get hit pretty hard on the scale here.
And also, Japanese people prefer pretty food to tasty food. I think it's a good generalization. If the food is pretty, it can lose a couple taste points.
Okay.
So, if you cut the apple slice into a cute little like rabbit ears type situation, it's going to taste better. And also, a hater of the any popular apple from what I've seen.
Yeah, which brings me to the Granny Smith Apple Review.
Yeah, I know about this one.
You do? Okay.
I know a little bit. As a Granny Smith enjoyer, I'm about to get put on blast here.
It is the number 2 ranked sour apple, number 2 ranked baking apple, and yet, he writes, there was a time not so very long ago when apples came in 2 varieties, red and green. Generally, red apples corresponded with the now contemptible Red Delicious, and green apples referred to the famed Granny Smith. For decades, children in school cafeterias across the world sang the praises of the mouth-puckering alternative to the teacher's pet Red Delicious.
Yes.
This was an apple for the cool kids. It inspired its own candy flavor and showed how truly original its eaters were. How sad it is that so many unfortunate souls still cling to the stray bits of personality they gleaned from proudly declaring themselves a Granny Smith fan when they were but mere tots. It is the dawn of a new age in Applelandia, and Granny Smith, an actual British expat who lived in Australia, is long dead. It is time to bury her apple along with her. Admittedly, this is a superb baking apple, and perhaps the best. But as for munching, the Granny Smith's densely packed flesh and insurmountable skin create a most unpleasant eating experience. Here are the straight facts. Granny Smith's tough flesh and skin will quite literally make your gums bleed. It was born from the trash of Granny Smith's French crab apples, and science has determined that this is the most undigestible apple in the world, which, to be fair, is actually good for gut flora. To all Granny Smith acolytes, it is time to grow up. There are now superior sour apples on the market. It gets bonus points for uniqueness, historical significance, and baking. But it is still 57, barely worth it.
Hater talk. I mean, come on now. You can't handle... You want a little fiber in your apple. You want something that going through your intestines, cleaning out the bad. That's the whole point of fiber, bro. For good poops. I don't want no weak pooping apple.
Yeah.
I want to take a thunderous dump after I eat an apple and enjoy my sour candy-like taste.
I guess, what does he say? He says we should eat the Kanzi, the Wild Twist, and Lucy Glow apples instead.
I haven't heard of those. Maybe I'll have to try them.
We'll have to, see what the availability on those is.
Yeah. I always think it's like the yellow apple is the alternate to the Granny Smith, and that shit's gross.
I am kind of a fan of a Golden Delicious. If it's not, you gotta get it just right when it's still crisp, because those can get mealy in an instant. I won't go for the Golden Delicious review this time around. I'll skip right to the Red Delicious, which is subtitled Coffee Grinds in a Leather Glove. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Believe it or not, the coffee grinds in a leather glove known as the Red Delicious apple was once a robust firebrand credited with reinventing the apple from mere cider fruit into a full-fledged lunch-worthy side piece. It even won the Stark Brothers Apple Contest in 1894. Likely your great-grandma's favorite apple, this once flavorful Prometheus has been mass-produced into desolation. Nowadays, you can find this thick-skinned, flavorless, mealy imposter unwashed in a dirty wicker basket on the floor of a convenience store. What a sad state of affairs. It's time to hang them up, old man. Your time has passed. It gets 25 out of 100 for despicable.
25 is generous for those. Red Delicious.
They taste like dust.
Did
I do an upon further review about this apple? I feel like I did.
I want to say we have talked about apples before once.
How this, it was literally, they continued to breed it to be longer shelf stable and almost more stackable. That's why the bottom of these suckers is like a square, because they bred it to be like, put it in a box and stack it. And the more they did that, the longer the shelf life, the more packable it became, the less flavorful it became. And now these orchards are out there with like, we got all these Red Delicious trees. What do you want us to do with them? And like, ship those suckers to some other country because we're not going to eat them here.
Yeah, wow. They're truly a plague on modern orchards. Yeah, man, I would never by choice pick up a Red Delicious. You remember that was like the school lunchroom apple too. I feel like we are on the front lines of like the Red Delicious transforming into garbage fruit. So crazy. Mankind took natural, beautiful food from the earth and transformed it into processed slop. While keeping it on the tree.
Yeah, that is incredible, isn't it? Let's end on a high note. I've got the Honeycrisp apple review.
Woo!
Quote, the worldwide favorite, ranked number 4 baking apple as well. The new kid on the block in terms of well-known apples, this go-getter went from specialty store nobody to supermarket mainstay in no time. A fan favorite likely to soon overtake the serviceable Royal Gala and belligerently disgusting Red Delicious as most in-demand apple, this sweet, snappy savior can be credited with bringing apples back into the discussion as a relevant fruit, as well as injecting its genes into some of the best apples mankind has to offer, including the number one, Sweet Tango. I'll have to look into that. While this trailblazer may have jump-started the apple renaissance, it's up to future generations of Honeycrisp offspring to carry the torch, as this splotchy MILF can be cumbersomely massive, weighing down grocery bags like a bulbous melon. And at the price, that can be a real deterrent. Yeah.
To me, though, the Honeycrisp is like a meal, which is kind of what I want in an apple.
Yeah, it's huge.
Like, when I'm eating an apple, I don't want that, like, that little snack. I want the between meal, mini meal out of an apple, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I need something to tide me over, fill the belly, get that fiber moving before dinner time. Apple's the go-to. The Honeycrisp, it's just the juiciest, isn't it? You bite it and it's like taking a drink of juice.
Mm-hmm. They're darn good.
That bitch snaps back. I'm interested to know why the Sweet Tango is number one, though. To me, it's like, it's just a slightly not as bad Red Delicious. It's just like default boring apple. But maybe people like that. Well, thank you. I think an important corner of the review internet that we needed to explore for sure.
Yeah, we're finally lifting the lid on this.
It sounds like there's plenty more to come back to, more curious about.
Indeed.
I also love that they're just a self-proclaimed authority. Like, listen, I got nothing going on, but I got a lot of opinions about these apples, and I'm going to get them down for everybody.
And there's a comment section on each review page as well, where people are like, "Oh, you got it. You're wrong." It's great.
Yeah, the discussion, that's what we want. Well, I got something great for us. Some reviews submitted by Benjamin McQuiggan.
Woo!
Thank you very much, sir. I have some reviews. He said this is another stone we have left unturned, and I agree. The comicbookroundup.com.
Okay.
The one he sent us, honestly, has a segment's worth of juice, so if y'all want to go check it out after the segment, feel free. But I got some reviews here for Absolute Batman number 1. Absolute Batman. I'll go ahead and send the cover to Matt. It is a brand new Batman reboot comic series. Okay. You know, comic books reboots just be happening whenever they feel like. And not in a bad way. But this is the latest Batman reboot. Before it came out, the design, even though I know the artist is very celebrated, the design was very controversial.
These got some thunder thighs, my God.
Yes, they definitely made the sort of Frank Miller Batman is a tank person type middle linebacker Batman. Brian Urlacher under the hood here. For
sure, yeah. Those are just the biggest legs I've ever seen, and I'm trying to...
When the traps are tickling your earlobe, you know you're hitting the gym right.
Is that like his cape that comes around and he's got little like whips on the ends that he...
Yeah, he's got like batons. I think there's this flying squirrel situation.
Sick. Okay.
It was very controversial. People are hating on the design, especially the bat symbol is just sort of a big brick.
Yeah, that's weird, but whatever. He's a big brick.
But it came out to rave reviews. People are loving it. It is 9.2 critic rating, 8.8 user rating.
That's why you can't judge things before you know what they are. Just on that note, I saw a reel, like some girl cosplaying as the Harley Quinn from the Lady Gaga Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And she's like, so sad to find out to put all this work into cosplay and then see the source material is awful. I was like, well, well, why you want to dress up as something before you know if it's good or not?
Yeah.
Why are you going to hate on something before you know if it's good or not?
Yeah, and if she's a professional cosplayer, sure, that's her job. Maybe she had to, but like, how many times are you going to fall in that trap? You know?
Yeah.
So I picked out 2 reviews. Like we said, this is critically acclaimed, but I picked out some reviews from people that jump the gun a little bit on disliking it. Yeah, so we'll start with this middling review from Starman123. Scott Snyder has written some exceptional Batman comics. This is not one of them. Nick Dragotta does a pretty good job with the art. He definitely has a unique style. I feel like I've read this before, however. I think it was called The Dark Knight Returns by a guy named Frank Miller, which was fantastic. This seems like the same recipe, only Bruce Wayne is a young instead of old. Also, I don't feel as though we got to know about Bruce/Batman in this issue. It mostly takes place through the eyes of Alfred, which is not all that interesting. I was kind of wondering what was up with the big blocky bat on his chest. Though the reveal was not all that interesting. Will I buy issue 2? Most likely. But this title is on a short leash for me. It is definitely readable, but not a unique take on the character. 6.5.
I think having things through Alfred's point of view is interesting.
Yes, that hit me so much too. Like, are you kidding? That's not an interesting choice. Like, if that isn't, then what is, man?
Like, how many different ways can you retell the Batman story?
Yeah.
You gotta be faithful to an extent, but you also want to reinvent. You don't want to totally go off the page. But yeah, for Alfred seeing, of course you're not going to get to know Bruce or the Bat if you're seeing it from outside Bruce and the Bat's head. But I think that's unique. That's where the hook.
And I think it's my perception as sort of a nerdy but casual Batman fan that people love Alfred, and Alfred often gets a back seat or sort of comes late to the characterization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're featuring my man Al, put me down for a couple issues at least.
That's what I'm saying. Why not? That right there is it. That hook is interesting enough for me to get over some of the rougher edges that might be here, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Let's also get some feedback from Myconius. They write cons in sort of the bullet point style here. Goofy anime-looking art. Batman looks ridiculous. Every bullet point is the bullet point, and then in parentheses, their little fucking comment on the bullet point. And that point just right.
Yeah.
Too subversive. This was built for first-time read. I doubt the twist will hold up on reread. Too deconstructive. There's only so much you can bend and deconstruct characters before they are no longer the same character. I will avoid going into spoilers, but you'll know who I'm referring to at the start of the comic. That's not what deconstruction means. Yet another brutal Batman that kills. At least this killer Batman is different in that he stabs and hacks his enemies to bloody bits. So edgy. I am sick and tired of grimdark edgelord comics. Pros. At least it's not by Tom King. Thankfully, not by Chip Zdarsky either. So he just uses his review to beef with some people. At least this Batman doesn't weigh a buck and change and have to wear armor to compensate. Thankfully, Scott Snyder refrained from making this overly wordy as his prior Batman writing. At least Batman hasn't killed anyone with a gun, at least not yet. There might have been another positive. I can't think of it right now. I'm going to try rereading this at some point and see if I feel differently about it later. 2.5.
Okay. Generally, just to note, you start with pros and then go to the cons. Yeah. I know, even if it's weighted in favor of the cons, it's just the structure that we kind of all agreed upon at this point. Spoilers, my guy? You're not gonna... I don't want to talk about the characters that are deconstructed beyond recognition, but also Batman kills people.
There's a scene where Batman hacks and kills a man to death.
It's using knives instead of guns.
That point is also dispute. There's comments on here. We love that. Let me see what this these other idiots have to say about that point. They made it explicitly clear that Bruce didn't kill anyone in this book, says Toonstrack. And then he disputes this Batman, and Batman in quotes, had just impaled some guy in both his lungs, leaving him bleeding out. If he wasn't dead immediately, then he soon would be. This was with the guy that had his arm half chopped off. Batman saying no fatalities. That line is preposterous after seeing what just happened. So it sounds like he extrapolated.
Okay.
That Bruce, some villain Bruce fucked up, is dead now.
Okay. Well, I mean, if it's an Ivan Drago, if he dies situation, that's a bit different.
Yeah, just leave him. Yeah, I don't know. A man drives you to stab him in the lungs. You expect me to take him to the hospital afterwards? Get stabbed, bro. In this hypothetical situation, in my mind, it's on that guy.
Boy.
I like the, I am sick of grimdark edgelord comics. Why are you reading modern DC comics? Like,
that's a you problem with what you're grabbing.
And I just think, like, from when I was 7 to now, every comic that I've seen that made, like, neuron activation, holy shit, I gotta see what that's about. It's always been some crazy, dark, brooding dude who's, like, killing guys with some cool cartoon gore. Wolverine, speaking of Frank Miller's Wolverine, man. That's just Wolverine stomping on villains' goons for fucking like 28 pages straight. It's awesome. What do you want in your back? You want your Batman comic to be like light and fluffy?
Not $1.50 light.
Not $1.50. And also this guy has a art of like a skull, a bloody skull is his profile picture.
Sounds like he likes the dark and edgy.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this guy doesn't know what he wants and he's scared. The I'm rereading this and I might change my score later is so giving, like, I know I just gave this stupid, ignorant, extreme opinion, but don't worry. If people get mad at me, I gave myself an out. I can change it. All right. I think that's enough about the Batman. Should we call?
We're there. Yeah, I think that's that.
Well, that's that. We're at the end. A bit of a double segment at the end of this week. We love that. Thank you for listening to ReviewParty.com. Thanks for linking it to the end of the episode. We got new episodes every Tuesday. That's right. #Tuesday Reviews Day. If you'd like to send in an absurd review for us to make some funnies over like Ben did.
Thank you.
Please send a hyperlink or a screenshot of the review to reviewparty.com@gmail.com and include your name so we can throw you some credit.
If you want to contact us in some other way, at reviewparty.com on Instagram and TikTok, at reviewpartypod on Twitter/X. We're on YouTube, search Review Party. We're on Letterboxd, search Review Party. We've got a lot of content out there. We've been doing this a while. We've been throwing out the funnies that anyone can pick up and laugh at. If you just want different things, hey, go to reviewparty.com. There's a blog there. There's listening platforms there. If you suddenly realize that Podtail or OwlPod or Pod Owl only has episodes up to 164, and you're like, why is that? We're on 228?
228, baby.
Well, maybe you need a new listening platform. Maybe Podtail in it. Maybe you need to do something about that. Go to our website, find a new listening platform, and find the new episodes. Okay?
Do it. What else can you do? Follow, subscribe, favorite, whatever that button is, wherever you listen. Hitting it helps us so much. We can't even explain it to you. Leave a review on iTunes, Podchaser, Spotify, wherever you listen to. If you want to go the extra mile and support, we're the review podcast, so having fun reviews for a podcast is fun. And if we see them and they're 5 stars and they're funny and cute, we'll probably feature them on the show right at the end of the episode, right here.
Yup.
That's all the stuff I gotta say. You can turn on notifications on Spotify. I think they might not even let you not do that anymore. You know the deal. We appreciate it. And we appreciate our homies Nosebleeds for letting us use their jam bread for breakfast throughout every episode for a little flavor. If you want some more of that flavor, you can check them out on Spotify. For example, Nosebleeds, one word. They got tons of jams. Just like Matt said, we got so much content on social media. I imagine the video content we've put out now must be in the hours of watchability. And then, over 200 hours of podcast listenability. Oh, man. But I have a review to finish us off to get us out of here. This one is also from those reviews that Ben submitted. Thank you, Ben. I found one with some finisher quality. If the page would load. All right, for Absolute Batman number 1, this is a review from Dave. Dave writes, I tried to read it and made it to page 6 and just didn't care to finish. I'm going to try to read it again later. Might change my grade later. I just did not care to finish it. 3 out of 10.
Man, I feel the same way.